footballgameplan.com, where football makes sense. I'm Emery Hunt, the czar of the playbook. Bring you our preview of the 2013 AdvoCare V100 Bowl between the Boston College Eagles and the Arizona Wildcats. Now let's take a look at some keys to victory for both teams, starting with Boston College. The Boston College Eagles are led by their Heisman finalist at running back Andre Williams, who ran for over 2,100 yards this season. And in this game versus Arizona, yes, you want to dance with the person you brought to the party, but it is okay for someone to cut in just for one dance, and that would be Chase Reddick and his passing game. It doesn't have to be air raid-esque, but early development of balance only helps this offense out as a whole. Defensively, the Wildcats will lean on the Eagles' defensive front because of the size advantage, which is why versus Kadeem Carey in that Arizona ground game, it is vital for these linebackers to take a chance, guess a little bit to try to beat the Wildcats to the spot, which could put you in better position to stop the run. Now let's move over to the Wildcats in this ball game, and Arizona comes into this bowl game with a 7-5 record, and they also boast a top tailback themselves in Kadeem Carey. The Wildcats offense is an up-tempo spread attack with heavy run emphasis. Now versus Boston College, I look at the athleticism of quarterback B.J. Denker, who has rushed for over 1,000 yards this season, being the biggest X factor on offense. Boston College's defense is fundamentally sound, so if Denker can get outside or break contain, it's going to make things difficult for that Eagles defense to try to defend. Now on the other side of the ball, I'm a big fan of the activity of the Wildcats defense. Their 3-3-5 is disruptive as they try to beat you with speed. Now versus the Eagles, the focus will be on the outside linebackers and the Rovers versus that power game and stretch runs. You can't allow Andre Williams to get ahead of steam. And also in the passing game, you have to keep wide receiver Alex Amadon busy at the line of scrimmage. You want to force Chase Reddick to find other targets in the passing game. The X factor in this game for Boston College will be utilizing Andre Williams in the passing game. That's something that they haven't done all season long, so why not break it out? He's a senior, and break it out in the bowl game. Showcase his hands, get him out there in space so he can utilize that power and his lateral agility to make one miss. So I think utilizing him in the passing game could help this offense out a lot versus Arizona. And the X factor for the Wildcats will be strong side linebacker Scooby Wright. He's a guy that excels in coverage but also can play the run very well, and he's going to be matched up over the tight end, so it's up to him to make sure he contains and seal the edge, try to put in that running game back inside so the inside linebackers and that nose tackle can make plays at or behind the line of scrimmage. Now here are some coaching points for both teams in this ball game. For Boston College, wide receiver Alex Amadon, I would keep him on the move all around the formation. He's your big play threat. He's an outstanding receiver, can play both in the slot as well as on the outside, but keep him on the move and you can have some success. And you also want to move the pocket for Chase Reddick. Arizona's defense is very aggressive. He will blitz you from different angles, move the pocket for him. That way he can succeed in the passing game. And on defense, I will go with mostly an inside technique in the secondary. We didn't talk about this, but we're going to address it now. Arizona has some huge wide receivers, and right now Boston College passing game is struggling. Those wide receivers have to play inside out and force the quarterback B.J. Denker to be accurate deep down the field consistently. And for the Wildcats in this ball game, I look at the offensive line, in particular both offensive tackles, Fabian Ebel and also Mickey Balkus, owning the edge. If they can allow Kadeem Carey to get to the outside, that's a big play waiting to happen for the Wildcats. The defensive line has to be able to get off blocks. That's how you beat the running game of Boston College. You have to get off blocks. If you can't do that, Andre Williams will have his way with this defense. And I just mentioned how big the wide receivers are on the flanks, and you want to play above the rim. Take those shots deep down the field, down the sideline with those bigger wide receivers, and win some of those 50-50 jump balls. I think they can have some success to move the football down the field in chunks versus this secondary of Boston College. Now here are some 2014 draft prospects you want to keep an eye on in this ball game for Boston College. Obviously, the big-time running back Andre Williams definitely has a bright future at the next level, but I'm a big fan of Kevin Pierre-Louis, a linebacker. Some say he's undersized. I say he's perfect. This is a guy that is always involved on plays at or behind the line of scrimmage. And Alex Amadon, please don't compare him to Wes Welker or any other white wide receiver. This is a guy that can play on the outside as well as he can play on the inside. A lot of talent, and I like the developmental talent of quarterback Chase Reddick, 6'3", 206. Looking forward to seeing what he can do in the postseason All-Star games moving forward. And for Arizona, 3 prospects caught my attention. Kadeem Carey, obviously, here's a guy that was a nation-leading rusher last season, 5'11", 207, a junior, may come out early. And cornerback Shaquille Richardson, big fan of his game, can line up man-to-man, can also play in the slot, 6'1", 188. And keep an eye on linebacker Marquise Flowers, 6'3", 233, a guy on the inside that does a great job in run support. Before it was called the AdvoCare V100 Bowl, it was known as the Independence Bowl, and in the 1997 game, LSU took on Notre Dame in what was a rematch from the regular season where Notre Dame knocked off LSU in Tiger Stadium 24-6. In this matchup, it wasn't even close as Rondell Millie rushed for over 180 yards and 3 touchdowns as LSU knocked off Notre Dame 27-9. Arguably the best team in program history, legendary head coach Frank Leahy led the 5th-ranked 10-0 Boston College Eagles into battle versus another legendary head coach in program, Bob Nealon, and the 4th-ranked Tennessee Volunteers in the 1941 Sugar Bowl. A defensive battle in the first half as the Eagles offense finally got it together in the second half when running back Charlie O'Rourke scored the game-winning touchdown on a 24-yard run, giving Boston College the 1913 victory to finish the season a perfect 11-0 en route to becoming the national champions. In the 1994 Fiesta Bowl, Arizona took on Miami, and the Miami Hurricanes clearly wasn't ready for Desert Swarm as Arizona, led by linebacker Teddy Bruschi, blanked Miami 29-0, forcing 2 fumbles, 3 interceptions, and 4 sacks. The offense got off to a great start early, marching 75 yards on the opening drive in only 8 plays versus a top 5 Hurricane defense for a touchdown, and head coach Dick Tomey's Wildcats would finish the season with a 10-2 record. Running back Mike Holoback is definitely a campus legend for Boston College. Here's a guy that averaged 5 yards a carry as a sophomore, was a consensus All-American in 1942, in which he finished 4th in the Heisman Trophy voting. Linebacker Byron Evans is definitely a campus legend for Arizona from 1983 to 1986. Here's a guy that was the Pac-10 Defensive Player of the Year as a senior and a 2-time first-team All-Pac-10 performer, and finished his Wildcat career with 552 tackles. I like Arizona in this ball game. I believe their passing game will do a great job in complementing what they do on the ground. And we look at the defense side of football, they don't have to really stop Andre Williams. They just have to slow him down just enough to where they gain that possession back, forcing Boston College to punt the football. So I think that's how Arizona will win this ball game, and what will be a lot of points scored in my opinion. But I think the Wildcats have the balance on offense, they have the speed and athleticism on defense to make plays. So I think the Arizona Wildcats will come away the 2013 AdvoCare V100 Bowl champions.